Mike Cardano with the Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, here with you to provide you with our Week 6 market share report. And this is where we review the previous week's on-field action, highlighting the wide receivers who earned the most pass targets, the running backs who get the most carries, and then we take a look at which players saw the most chances to score inside the red zone. Make certain to pay extra attention whenever you hear the term market share in this segment, because this is a metric that we use to identify which players are getting the highest percentage of their team's play calling. As we know, opportunity breeds success. So let's first take a look at our pass target leaderboard. Now remember, a target is simply a pass thrown in the direction of a receiver. And since receivers are dependent on their quarterbacks to score points, well, targets are essential to fantasy success. And when you hear the term market share targets, that's the percentage of a team's targets that a player receives and how many DraftKings points that they scored, resulting from the passes that were thrown their way. In this week's leaderboard, you can see that many of the week's top performers at the wide receiver position are the ones that are featured, but you'll also notice that there are a few duds. Demaryius Thomas tied for the league lead in targets, and he was easily the top scorer at the wide receiver position. He turned his 16 targets into 45.6 DK points. On the other hand, Kelvin Benjamin got the opportunities that most forecasted, but he converted his 11 targets into just 5.8 DK points, making him one of the most disappointing performances of Week 5. Now, an interesting twist in the targets leaderboard this week is the appearance of 3 running backs in the top 20. Now, when running backs get wide receiver-like opportunity in the passing game, there's huge upside on a site like DraftKings thanks to the PPR bonus. Matt Forte and Pierre Thomas, who was highlighted in our tournament plays video last week, each scored over 30 points. Fred Jackson was the other running back in the top 20 in targets, and he turned his 9 targets into 17.7 points. In total, 19 players saw at least 10 targets this past week with an average score of 20.12 DraftKings points. Once again, if you were able to correctly identify players receiving double-digit targets, you had a great chance of recouping value on their price tag. DeMarco Murray once again sits atop the leaderboard with 31 carries in Week 5. Now Murray has had at least 22 carries in every game, which has assured him a spot in the top 5 every week. In total, 7 running backs topped 20 carries in Week 5, with those 7 averaging 19.8 DraftKings points per game. Brandon Oliver, Andre Ellington, and Matt Forte fell just short of 20 carries, but had big contributions in the passing game to surge towards the top scorers at the running back position. Now, Oliver was the biggest surprise of the week as the leading running back scorer, with LaShawn McCoy continuing his disappointing 2014 season. The volume was there with 24 carries, but he turned them into just 11.6 DraftKings points. In total, just 18 running backs saw at least 15 carries in Week 5. Now, this continues the trend of timeshare at the running back position in the NFL and places a bigger premium on predicting the opportunities. The final leaderboard we're going to show you today is one that we use to evaluate which players see the most opportunities in the red zone, which is a carry or a target on a play that starts inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Now, historically, these opportunities are more valuable the closer you get to the goal line, as touchdown rates increase with each yard closer to the opponent's end zone. Andre Williams led the way in Week 5 with 8 red zone opportunities, of which he converted just 1 into a touchdown. Now, the opportunities were fueled by Rashad Jennings' early exit, but Williams' inability to do more with the opportunities against a soft Falcons defense is somewhat of a concern for his value going forward. Outside of Williams and Ahmad Bradshaw, the running backs who got the opportunities in the red zone were the highest scorers on DraftKings last week. Brandon Oliver and Adrian Foster each saw 4 red zone opportunities, and they both scored twice. 11 running backs saw at least 4 red zone opportunities, and they averaged 21.26 points. Here's something we didn't expect. Tom Brady was a big surprise, getting 4 red zone rushes on the week. I'd be surprised if he had another game this season with 2. Ruben Randall continues to be heavily targeted in the red zone, adding 4 more to his total. He now leads the NFL with 12 red zone targets on the season. For more in-depth analysis on market share leaders throughout the rest of the season, head on over to rotoexperts.com and sign up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. Our experts, Drew Dickmeyer and Mike Leone, get you ready each week with strategy articles, site-specific cheat sheets, and recommendations that highlight the top value plays each week and send you updated injury information right to your inbox with our lineup alerts feature. Become a member of the Daily Fantasy Rundown team at rotoexperts.com by signing up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. For Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm Mike Cardano.